Previously, don't talk that talk. Let's go to the next topic. We ended a certain way on the show last time, and it really got me to thinking. And I know that we kind of touched on it, but I really want to get into this because it's not only something that I'm pretty sure that we talk about on the show, but I also think it's something that a lot of us, either contemplate or have thoughts about. So here we go. What does supporting the culture look like even when we don't agree? What does supporting the culture look like even when we don't agree? Rick.
He would go to me first, wouldn't he, Corey? Oh, Lord.
Well, I went to Quan on the first one, so
All
I'm coming
right.
to you on this
I'm
one.
good. I'm
Maya
good.
up first on the next one. See, I'm trying to get into the flow.
I question if what people consider support is the same person to person. Like I think that if we don't blindly say what everybody else say, you call everything from Uncle Tom to a hater to, like somebody said last show, we think everybody's stupid and dumb or whatever. Like I don't know how you support in a way that is true to yourself while also making others feel good about what you're saying. I don't know if you can do that. I think what you can do is you can stand for something and stay on solid ground with what you stand for. I don't do this because I want people to agree with me or I want people to, like me or anything like that. That's not why I do this. I do this because I feel like what I'm saying and what I'm teaching is what's best for our people. I don't do this for anybody else but our people. Quan has talked many times on this show about that post slave syndrome or post traumatic slave syndrome. Me personally, Quan, and I'll allow you to talk about it when you go, bro. Me personally, I think that anytime something happens bad, that people always go to that. Sometimes things just happen bad because there's bad people doing those things. I think it's easy to try to rationalize something with something that's as wide open as post-traumatic slave syndrome. At the end of the day, bad people do bad things. Good people do bad things sometimes. Like we're all human. So to support the culture, or what does that look like, even when people don't agree with you? It looks like what we're doing on this show, being steadfast in what you believe in. Yeah, people don't like the fact that I come on here and say I can't stand cross voicing and some of the way that some of these bands write. You have every freedom to do whatever you want. I'm not telling anybody what to do, but I'm allowed to have an opinion just like you are when you sit down in a computer and write whatever you write. The same way that these people can get on here, like I say many times on this show, and justify the bad behavior of others or the decisions that are made, the same way we are able to make a decision that, hey, we don't agree with that. So I don't know if you can ever please people that don't agree with you, because for some reason in our country now, you can't just disagree with somebody and still be civil. If you disagree with somebody, you're against that person and they're against you. And I just don't subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to that in anything. Like whether it's my personal life, whether it's my political life, I just don't subscribe to the group thing. I never have. I never will. I like making my own mind up and doing the things I want to do and what I think God has put me on this earth to do, not what man or some dude that doesn't have a music education degree that's telling people what band is supposed to be. Like, no, I'm not interested in that. I will support the parts of the culture that I enjoy. I always have. I am not ashamed when I go into rooms full of white people and I let them know what my credentials are. I went to Norfolk State. I didn't go to UT and all these other schools. I went to Norfolk State University for my undergraduate and master's degree. Most people leave HBCUs to get their master's. I did not. I stayed right there because I love my experience in Norfolk and they hit me with that money, daddy. So what you think? I was right there. So it was tight. Yes, I'm getting my doctorate from a predominantly white institution now, But if there was an HBCU that offered doctorate degrees, I would have considered that one too. So I think at the end of the day, y'all, when it comes to supporting the culture, I will never subscribe to the group thing. When I just won't. If I am adamantly against something, I'm going to express it in a respectful way. Nobody can say I've been disrespectful to them. They may not like what I say, but I'm not adamantly out here telling people that they're the worst person in the world and being disrespectful. I think some of their actions are disrespectful to the students that are in front of them. What justice are we doing to students when they don't even know how to tune, or they don't even have any considerations for tuning or listening when they play? That is a disservice to the students. You don't have to like what I'm saying. The fact of the matter is, out of tune is out of tune. Bad sounds are bad sounds. Bad is bad. And it's like I always say on this show, y'all. And I'll end with this and throw it to whoever you want, Julie. It's funny how we're never able to have a varying opinion on something with the people that have an opinion on everything. These are the same people that every week tell you how your band sucks, how your director needs to be fired, how your student or how your arrangers don't know what the hell they doing. They don't know how to arrange. They don't know how to do none of this. And these are people that have never taken an arranging course in their life. So somebody that's actually doing it at a high level, they don't know what they're doing. They need to be fired, blah, 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 from a person that has no training in that field whatsoever. It's that fight against expertise, man. So to answer the question, I don't think that we can, in their opinion, support the culture through disagreement. Through my opinion, I think our disagreements with certain things are absolutely supporting the culture, because I said this when we first started having these type of arguments. If you love something, you should want better for it. That's it.
All right. Maya, what does supporting the culture look like even when we don't agree?
Um, for starters, I think us getting back to the thought process of community. So it takes a village, that age old mantra, or thought process. And, it takes a varying amount of skill sets. It takes a varying amount of degrees of opinion and perspective to make the world go round. And I think in terms of our culture or this culture, it's yet another community. So one, being able to put respect on the fact that we all come from different backgrounds. We all have different degrees of knowledge. We all have different perspectives and iterations of how we feel we can change or progress the culture in itself. Um, I think also going back to the sense of some people just want to say stuff just to say stuff. But I mean, sometimes it's okay to actively listen, to be teachable, and to be able to stand in a sense of, hey, whether it's old folks or young folks, I think everybody should get back to being able to work together to figure out, like, hey, this is where I'm come from. This is where I see this going, or this is my perspective on this, and being able to have an open conversation. That's the foundation of it, is in respect. I think that that's a way that we can support the culture. Because, I mean, again, we may not necessarily agree, but if we're all here to do the same thing, then I don't see why we just can't agree to disagree. I mean, in another perspective, I mean, money doesn't have to agree, nor does it have to disagree, right? So you may not align yourself with the vision of a new band director or whomever, but at your alma mater or the community program down the street or the whatever, just for the sake of the art in itself, if you see that these people need new uniforms, you see that they've been using the same busted drum heads for the past 5-6 seasons or whatever, putting your money on the table and just leaving the conversation out the door, that's a way to support as well. Just pretty much just making some type of foundation for us to be respectful and for us to be innovative, creative, and continue to propel forward. We don't have to agree on everything, but I think that we should respect each other, and we should be able to be teachable and be able to pivot when necessary.